The first 120 pages is all about mindset of an investor. Nothing to do with mechanics. It's what separates an investor from a non-investor. It's overcoming the fear. It's taking that next step. And I heard someone say yesterday at this investment seminar, I've heard them say, do it scared. Don't wait, just do it. Some advice that I'm sure you would support. Just do it, right? Just do it. What else? Money lives on the other side of fear.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest, Jason Smith with Showcase Miami, is a Miami-based realtor for 26 years who's bought and sold $5 million in investment properties. He's also a paid trainer for Keller Williams and teaches a one-day course to KW agents around the country based on the best-selling book, Millionaire Real Estate Investor. You can also find him on Instagram at Jason Smith Showcase. Jason, thanks for taking the time today.
An honor to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on the show today. And I always like to start off at the top by asking folks really how they got started in real estate. But Miami real estate is another beast entirely. Are you lifelong Floridian and from Miami?
I was actually born in England, and I came here as a wee lad when I was 6 years old back in '74.
Okay, came to South Florida?
Yep, came to South Florida. My parents uprooted themselves from England, and they came over here to Miami.
Okay,
Yep.
so I got to ask some questions about Miami at that point in time. What was it like down there in Miami back then? I can't imagine it was what it is today.
I didn't have the perspective necessarily as a 6-year-old coming here, but what I do remember is a lot of snakes on the street, dead snakes that had been run over by cars, rat snakes in particular back then. You saw, which you don't see anymore. You'd see a lot of, let's see, not a lot of buildings, high buildings. Like our downtown has transformed compared to what it was in the past, right? It's just amazing. And then as you go west in Miami, you get into the farmland pretty quick. There's Dadeland.
Really?
Oh yeah, Dadeland Mall, all kinds of citrus groves, mango, avocado groves that just became developed, right? And just what you look now, it's just as a center of town, used to be the western boundaries of Miami, if you will.
No kidding. I think a lot of people are surprised to hear that. There was farms right outside Miami.
Absolutely, strawberry fields, all kinds of stuff. As you just went a little bit, 3, 4, 5, 6 miles west of here. Yeah.
Do you know if at that point in time, this concept of snowbirding was a thing back then in South Florida?
It was. I mean, like my grandparents used to come here from Chicago. They lived in Chicago. They would come and they would visit here. They'd visit Havana, Cuba and stuff like that back in the 50s. They would come to Miami, and Miami Beach in particular is where they would vacation.
Now, when we talk about over the years, right? Of course, I think of Miami right now, South Florida being like one of the premier cities in the world, and it's one of my favorite places. And I've said this before that if I could swing it, I would love to be over there. I love so much of Florida. But specifically when we talk about investor agents or agents who deal with investors?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
And you're in South Florida. That's one of the most competitive markets to be in.
As an investor or as an agent?
Both, I would think, right?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, it is. I agree. I would agree.
Now, when we talk about your career path and from where you started until where you are now, were you always thinking like an investor and working with an investors, or was that over time something that came about organically?
Well, as you and I mentioned before the show, I used to do a lot of short sales as a listing agent back in 2008, 2009. I survived as a realtor off of short sales, right? Pre foreclosures. A third of the MLS back then was pre foreclosure, a third was bank owned foreclosure, and a third were traditional where the sellers had equity. So it was hard as a seller who has equity, sorry, who has no equity. Um, Basically, if you wanted to sell, you had to be pre foreclosure because you were competing against all the other pre foreclosures and all the REO properties that were out there. So you had to be very competitive in the price. And I couldn't, I had to go to where the money was, where the sellers that could sell in that environment were doing it. And it was only pretty much the pre foreclosures that were selling at that time.
Yeah, I mean that was the absolute peak of chaos in the real estate space, right? And so one of the hallmarks of a real estate operator, whether you're an agent, an investor, a lender, even someone in the trades, right? You have to be able to make these pivots with time. And going and into that short sales space, did you have mentors? Did you have people that were doing that, or was the attitude like, hey, if I don't do this, there's not going to be anything to sell?
Really good point. Well, I knew how to get in communication with sellers because I prospect every day. I've done it for 26 years, 2 hours every morning. I'm looking for sellers, right? So it was no different back then. The only difference back then is that the sellers were more motivated because they had to sell, right? Because they had an adjustable an arm mortgage and their rate was about to go up. They had to sell and they didn't have equity type of thing. So I had to pivot because I didn't know about how to negotiate with the banks,
Yeah.
right? Needed to partner myself. I could get the leads, the sellers, but I had to give part of my commission or get a title company to someone who would spend their time on the phones, two phones at a time with the different banks negotiating with them to get them to take less than what they were owed. And with the deals that I saw back then, one example was a $750,000 townhouse, Coconut Grove, 1 or 2 years old. That one, my listing, sold. What price would you guess? 2 years old townhouse in a beautiful part of Miami.
Oof, man, I feel like it's going to be something less than 700,000, but I would traditionally think 2 years later in Miami, it would be have appreciated to some extent. I'm going to throw out 600.
He bought it for 750. My seller, we ended up selling it because it had Chinese drywall, and although it was only 2 years old, we did a short sale for 150.
Unbelievable.
Today, that townhouse is worth 1.8.
Do you know who bought that? It had to be an investor, right?
It was an investor. It was an investor who could deal with the Chinese drywall, the smell of eggs, the around that Chinese drywall would bring at that time was very prevalent at that era, like 2005, 2006 construction. That was one deal. Another deal, there was I think, yeah, there's so many of those deals that I've seen as a realtor for sellers over the past couple of decades. That's what prompted me to see, wow, there's so much opportunity here. Yes, I can be an agent. I want to help people as agents, but I also want to be a principal taking advantage of some of these opportunities as well that present themselves when you're prospecting day in and day out.
When we talk about investing, especially as an agent? A lot of times people divvy up these two worlds and they say, okay, here's the investing world here, and I'm an agent. I'm not going to touch that investing world.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
But a part of me feels like, what are you in this game to do if you're not investing in real estate? And I've been on both sides. I've been licensed, then I've been unlicensed. Then I see people who just deal with retail, and I see people who just invest. What would be your advice or feedback to let's say newer agents who would like to get started investing at some point in time?
Great question. I would say, as I teach in my classes for this book, The Millionaire Real Estate Investor, written by Gary Keller, the founder of Keller Williams, who I work for, it's there. There's the realtor hat that you and I wear, you being a realtor as well as an investor. There's a realtor hat, but there's also the investor hat. And the challenge is, as a realtor, as an agent, you got so many deals that you're working with, clients, requests, that type of thing. You sometimes forget to put on your investor hat. And the only way that I've been able to figure out how to is to time block. Like on a Saturday, I'm not wearing my realtor hat in the morning for 4 hours. That's when I have my investor hat on. That's when I'm making offers. I'm looking to see which properties out there would cash flow with a certain amount down, that have some upside. That's my criteria, my buy box, if you will. That's Jason's time as an investor. That's not realtor time. I think that's one way I've been able to do it, is just time block. If you're an agent, a certain portion of your week for 3 or 4 hours, see properties that you like, make offers at terms that work for you, and then put them into some type of program where you can see, plug in the insurance, the taxes, the 25% down, whatever it might be, and see if they cash flow, what's the net operating income, that type of thing. But really, I'm making offers like, say, 70 to 80%. I feel like I'm inching up closer to asking price these days, because it's super competitive in the duplex, let's say in
Yeah.
Miami. It's multiple offers and they don't really budge, versus condos. Right now, there's 300 condos in Miami Beach, South Beach, between 150 and 400. So complete buyer's market there. So the contrarian is making offers there, even though you've got, the assessments, etc. But I've learned from one of my mentors, just keep on making offers. The offer means nothing. Find out who the motivated sellers are, and just keep doing it.
That's a great point. People can overlook what you said and the significance and the impact there, but you're making the offer to find the motivation, right? That's the opening door, right? So you can kind of stack credibility. Hey, I'm an investor, I'm a realtor. Here's the offer, right? Let's find. You might have to make a couple of them. I've worked with investors and we've made 100 offers over the course of a couple of months before one gets accepted. But sometimes you have to just keep putting up shots like that. I do want to pivot a bit here though, Jason, and talk about the importance of networking, and when, especially if you're a newer agent and you're trying to get into the investment side of things, it's really a different sphere, right? So one is retail, another is investors, and creating that network for yourself. Talk to us a little bit about your feedback on that.
Great. So again, we come across deals, off market deals, as agents that are pounding the pavement looking for listings, right? The realtor hat. So we came across it. One of our contacts said, "Hey, I have a sister. I have a friend, and this friend and her sister want to sell their property in West Miami because the family member just passed. They want to sell it as is." And that one sold for 410, and it ended up they flipped it. They assigned it as a wholesaler for $150,000 without doing any work to it.
That
And
was
then
their assignment fee?
their assignment fee.
Oh my
Here's the
gosh.
thing. Jason had the opportunity to do that, but I didn't have the network, to your point, because this person who got it under contract, got control of it. They had maybe five or six investors from their investor club. that were willing to do the work and flip it come by. 4 or 5 of them passed, but one said, okay, I'll do it. I'll pay you $150,000 premium so that we can flip it and sell it for 750.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
ARV, right? After repair value. So these sisters they didn't want to. Here's the thing: they didn't want to list it with us. They didn't want to list it. I maintain as an agent, as I always do, increase demand. Sure, there's a commission involved, but put it on the open market. Have people compete for it, right? I focus on helping sellers get full retail. So that's my model. They said, no, we don't want to do it. We just bring us a buyer. We'll pay you a couple percent. So we brought them a buyer. Was it a great offer at 410? No. Could we have gotten them more? I think we probably could have gotten them in the mid fives if we put it on the open market, just as they did, right? To get somebody, maybe even higher, maybe even 600. So I guess that's the thing that's a pet peeve as a realtor who also is an investor. I have a couple of single families. I truly believe that the agent does, if they know what they're doing there and their focus is on helping the seller get the most and get competition for the property, the market speaks. It's putting it on the open market with great images at a price that's not too high, because if you're too high, then you have to end up settling later. The listing gets stale, that type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to unpack there. We could talk about photos. We could talk about, identifying the right price. We could talk about on market, off market. I've dealt with all of those. And as someone who's also scoured for listings that are stale listings and looked for signs of, hey, would this person be open to something creative? Would they take a cash offer, right? One of the first things that I look for is just bad photos. And I'm like, it's a good property. I've seen this property. I know I've driven by there. What's up with these photos? And sometimes it's a flat fee listing. It could be any number of things. And that something like this happens all the time, right? And people are probably shocked. And sometimes they might be reasonably good photos, just no staging, right? And so you have someone that has staging, and you are able to facilitate that. That can be the difference in the world, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and a lot of the expired listings that we get were simply because the images didn't convey how beautiful the property was.
Yeah, I mean, it's shocking that happens time and time again. I guess people are trying to, save a few dollars here and there, so they may justify it. But ultimately, if your property's sitting for 200 days and you don't have anything close to where you're trying to be at, that can make you motivated relatively quickly, quicker than some other strategies. I do want to pivot a bit here, though, Jason. Before we wrap, and ask you specifically about what it's like teaching other agents to become investors themselves, and also how this has benefited you in your business as well.
Great question. Great question, Dylan. Well, I started to teach this material because I wanted to become a master of the material, right? I wanted to really, if you teach something, you become really much better at it. So that was my focus 7 years ago when I first started teaching this course. And it's definitely, it makes me, if you're teaching, you have to know your material. So that's been very helpful to me. I would say about the book, if I may, the first 120 pages is all about mindset of an investor, nothing to do with mechanics. It's what separates an investor from a non-investor. It's overcoming the fear. It's taking that next step. And I heard someone say yesterday at this investment seminar, I've heard them say, do it scared. Don't wait, just do it. Some advice that I'm sure you would support. Just do it, right? Just do it. What else? Money lives on the other side of fear. There's the myth understandings on page 39 of the book, Myth Understandings. I can read that to you for a second if you like. It basically says, not misunderstandings, but myth, like mythology. understandings, and they are this. 3 personal myths. I don't need to be an investor. My job will take care of my financial wealth. The truth. Yes, you do need to be an investor. Your job is not your financial wealth. Myth number 2. I do not need or want to be financially wealthy. I'm happy with what I have. Truth. You need to open your eyes. You do need and want to be financially wealthy. Number 3 myth. It doesn't matter if I want it or need it. I just can't do it. Truth. You cannot predict what you can or cannot do until you try. The investing myths. Myth number 1, investing is complicated. Truth. Investing is only as complicated as you make it. Myth number 2, the best investments require knowledge most people do not have. Truth. The best investments, your best investments will always be in areas you can or already understand. Myth number 3, investing is risky. I'll lose my money. Truth. Investing by definition is not risky. Speculation is risky, but not investing. Investing, you know your buy box, you know your criteria. You don't have to look at the MLS or Zillow to see if something is a good value or not. You know already, okay, that's a good value. Myth number 4, successful investors are able to time the market. Truth, in successful investing, the timing finds you. The idea from Gary Keller, founder of Keller Williams, is always don't wait to buy real estate. Instead, buy real estate and wait.
Yeah.
And then finally, he says, myth, all the good investments are taken, which I'm sure we've heard that one a lot. Truth, every market has its share of good investments.
Amen to that. Amen to that. You got to get started. Do it scared, right? Do it scared.
Exactly.
Jason, we are coming up on time. Any new projects that you're working on, or how can our audience reach out to you or your team? How can folks get in contact with you?
Thanks, Dylan. Well, you can follow us on social media at Instagram. It's at Jason Smith Showcase. You'll see a lot of our listings over there, some of our team members, what we're doing. Again, it's at Jason Smith Showcase. And you can call me, text me, 786-326-8115. 786-326-8115. And finally, our website is showcasemiami.com. Showcasemiami.com. Or you can reach us at shortsaleshelp.net. Shortsaleshelp.net.
Jason, thank you so much for your time today. Thanks for coming on the show.
Dylan, thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thanks for joining us for today's show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing on your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. You can also check out the show's notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and even how to work with me directly one-on-one. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. See you on the next show.